In today's video, I wanted to give you a quick and just easy to follow simple guide that shows you everything you really need to optimize your Google Ads campaign to continuously get better results month after month and slowly bring down your cost per conversion. Now, each of the individual aspects that I'm going to go through deserves their own separate video in itself, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to explain each one briefly and explain like roughly how to do it and where to find these things so that whenever you're going along to optimize your Google Ads campaign that you make sure you cover all the most important aspects and you're not missing anything that could have a substantial impact on your overall results. So getting right into it, the most important aspect, or well, one of the most important aspects at least, is the search terms report. And you find that by going to insights and reports and to search terms. And this is different from the keywords. It's basically where you see all of the actual search terms that people typed into Google to see your ads. And what you're going to be doing here, at least twice a week, what I'd recommend doing in the beginning of your campaign is excluding any keywords that you do not want to appear for and adding any new keywords that you do want to appear for inside your campaign that are relevant to the ads that you've written. And to show you examples of negatives that we've added that are shown as excluded here, for a gutter cleaning ad group, we've added clean gutters price because we don't want people that are, thinking about price to get a job done. Gutter and window cleaning because this client doesn't offer window cleaning, so we also wanted to exclude that. This is a competitor's name here, PJ Fitzpatrick. So that's, the person was obviously looking for a competitor. So we don't want to appear for that either. So you get the idea. Basically, anything that you don't want to appear for, you add as a negative. And just to show you how to do that, you select the search term itself and then come up to here and just choose add as a negative keyword. And I also made a more detailed video on actually how to add negatives to your campaign. But I mentioned that if you want to make this a broad match negative, you can remove the brackets here because by default, Google will automatically add your negatives as exact match negatives, meaning that your ads won't show for the exact same search. But for example, if they typed in steam cleaning gutter, then your ad still would appear. But if you know that you don't want to appear for like, any variation of that, then you can just add it as a broad match keyword just to minimize the amount of negatives that you'll have to add. And same thing for adding new keywords here. So this is one we actually added to the campaign. Clean gutters from ground level because it's someone that that's indicating that they want to get the job done. So we added that as a new keyword to the campaign. Now the next thing we want to do is look through both our search terms report and the actual keywords that we're already targeting and add new ad groups where necessary. So if we've already built up an ad group with a lot of different keywords in that individual ad group, we might want to now make, a separate ad group for some of those keywords if we're able to write an ad that is more relevant to those keywords. Because if we're able to write an ad that's more likely to get clicked on, it'll increase our click-through rate, which is the most important aspect in determining our overall quality score. And what having a higher quality score does will reduce our cost per click, meaning that we're able to get more leads each month without any increase to our budget. And just to show you an example of like, how we've done this for one of our campaigns, is that we had a roofing campaign where we had anything related to fascia and soffits, which is a part of the roof, inside just one ad group. But what we've done then is anytime we've seen fascia and soffit installation, then we've basically made a new ad group for that with new ad copy that's relevant to fascia and soffit installation specifically. Same with fascia and soffit repairs. So if anybody's searching for fascia and soffit repairs, they're going to see an ad that says fascia and soffit repairs. And because they've done that, we're basically, more likely to get the click, which is going to increase our quality score. And as I mentioned, giving us a lower cost per click, which is, one of the most effective ways to optimize our campaign. The next thing we want to do then is optimize our keywords. So we need data for this first of all. We need a decent amount of impressions and clicks to know that a keyword's performing well in the first place. But assuming that you actually have that data, you can go through each of your keywords and look at all these metrics, for example, the amount of impressions they have, your click-through rate, is this keyword actually like relevant to the ads that you have written for the keyword? Your quality score as well is important because as I mentioned, if you have a quality score of just like one or two on your keywords, you're more likely going to be paying a higher cost per click for that keyword. But more importantly than cost per click, you don't always want to worry about cost per click because if you're targeting a really good competitive keyword with really high buying intent, cost per click isn't really the most important metric you want to be looking at, whereas the conversion rate is much more important. And you're able to see here that, if you have a For example, if you have a conversion rate of like under 10%, then you know that, the keyword probably could be performing a bit better. And it's not necessarily that you want to, pause that keyword straight away, but that's something I would generally aim for. And if you had a keyword with a conversion rate of 5% or less, then, you might have a keyword that's getting plenty of clicks, but for whatever reason, it's not turning into leads and, you're not getting anything within your budget from that keyword. So it's also worth watching out for too. So the whole point of optimizing your keywords is to really focus on the keywords that are performing best and getting you the most leads. And anything that is draining your budget and getting a lot of clicks but not getting you any leads at all, those are the ones that you want to consider pausing just to make sure that you are making the most out of your budget each month. Next thing you want to do then is look at your impression share to make sure that your ads are actually being shown. Now, in this campaign, we actually have a very low impression share of only about 35%. And the reason for that is because it's a small local client and they can't handle any more leads than that they're already getting within organics and from paid ads. But if we were running the ads with a higher budget, by simply just increasing their budget, we know we'd be having a higher impression share than this. But in general, if you're struggling to get impressions and clicks and spend your budget, you should come here to impression share and, basically try to increase that impression share as much as possible. And to give you more insight on this as well, you can come here to all campaigns. You select campaigns here on the left hand side, choose campaigns, and you'll see your search impression here, where you also have your search lost impression share due to rank and also search lost impression share due to budget. And basically, what you'll notice is that your search impression share plus your search loss impression share due to rank and your search loss impression share due to budget will always add up to 100%. And, basically, the most common reason for not having a higher impression share is due to just not having a high enough bid, so you're not spending enough on ads, or else Google doesn't like the quality of your ads, and increasing your quality score by, making separate ad groups for your keywords and making sure your keywords are optimized are an effective way of doing that as well. The next thing then I'd want to look at is your extensions. So making sure that you have all of the relevant extensions added and also making sure that they're performing well as well and considering pausing those that aren't performing. But just quickly mention, if you're running like a local service-based business lead generation campaign, I'd consider having like relevant images in place for the service that you provide, your business name, business logo, call out extensions, structured snippet extensions, call extensions if you're running a regular search campaign. And yeah, that will be it for lead generation campaigns. And just to show you as well, an example of like how to actually optimize these is that once you have data on some of these extensions, for example, your callouts, you want to make sure that they have a decent enough click-through rate of at least, maybe 3 or 4%, and also that they have a decent conversion rate and cost per conversion as well. Because if not, just like your keywords and they're getting a lot of clicks, and draining your budget, then they're obviously worth pausing just like your keywords because we want to be spending our money on the extensions that are actually getting us our money's worth. The next thing I'd look at doing then is actually A/B testing your ad copy. And similar to your keywords, you obviously want to wait until you have a decent amount of data before doing this. And usually I'd recommend, having at least 30 to 50 clicks before like looking at your ads and seeing, which one you should A/B test depending on performance because you need a significant amount of data to know which ad is the best and which one is the worst. And you can see in this case that we had three ads in this ad group, but now we basically paused one and duplicated the winning one. And basically, the one we had paused is the one that had the highest cost per lead and the lowest conversion rate because all of the actual click through rates were quite similar, all around 10%, which was good. But one of them had about half the conversion rate as the other two, which is why we decided to, pause that one. And we basically duplicated this one. So we basically duplicated the ad, and all you have to do to perform an A/B test is basically just make one change to a headline or max, two small changes to the ad. And, then you want to leave this new ad to see how it performs, gather relevant data. And basically, what you're trying to do with this is always outcompete the previous winner. And this is another great way of getting your cost per conversion down and optimizing your campaign as well. The next thing you want to do then is scroll down to your ad schedule and see the days of the week that your ads are running. And assuming that your, ads also have enough data on this, I'd look at each of the days of the week and see, is there any that are performing better than others, or, for example, like not performing at all compared to others. And you can see in this case for a campaign that we're running Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., we have pretty consistent conversions throughout. So there is no major changes made in this case to the ad schedule. But we have had some campaigns where we run them 7 days a week, and maybe the Sunday, for example, just had a terrible conversion rate, and you might either want to pause the day of the week if it's just not bringing you any results at all, or what you can also do is make a positive or a negative bid adjustment to the day of the week that's performing better or worse. And that's one we done with the Tuesday here because it has a bit of a lower cost per conversion than the rest of the days of the week. So we added a 10% positive bid adjustment to Tuesdays because it was performing better overall. And you can do this as well by just choosing the day of the week, selecting edit, and basically all you have to do then is just press change bid adjustments, and you can increase or decrease this by whatever percent you like. Another one you can also optimize as well is your actual devices. So, between mobile phones and computers and tablets. Now, in this case, the campaign we were running here was actually only on mobile phones because it was a call only campaign from the very beginning. But if you're running it like a regular search campaign and you're running your traffic to all three devices, you might notice that, one device is performing a lot better or worse than the other. And similarly to the ad schedule, you can simply add positive or negative bid adjustments for the devices that you're running the ads to, depending on how they're performing. The exact same thing then applies to locations. So if you're running your campaigns to multiple locations in the, area or country that you're targeting, you might have one area that performs significantly better or worse than the others. And same thing applies. You can apply your positive or negative bid adjustments. You can even just pause locations that aren't performing well at all. We haven't really had to do that in this case because overall the locations, each location was performing quite well. But if we noticed that one of them just wasn't getting any conversions, we'd consider pausing that location and adding positive bid adjustments for the locations that are performing better than others. The exact same thing then applies to actual audience themselves, and the main two we'd be looking at for audiences is both age and gender, and possibly household income depending on where you're based. But in a lot of the countries, we don't have much data on household income, but mainly these two is what we'd be looking at. And when you come down to the tables in each case, you can change this from ad group to campaign view, just so that you're seeing the data across each of the main age groups, each of the individual ranges here, to see if there's much difference in cost per conversion and cost per lead that you're getting. And as I mentioned, the same applies to gender and possibly household income if that's relevant to where you're based. And you can make positive or negative bid adjustments to these depending on your results and the results that you're getting from the campaign. And last but not least, then, is actually optimizing your landing pages themselves. And to do that, once you have ran a landing page for a while, you might want to A B test it. And by doing that, it's really simple to do in a landing page software. And I made another full video on exactly how to optimize your landing pages. But basically, what you're going to do is perform an A B test where you make another variation of the exact same landing page by duplicating it, and you basically just want to change around the main headline or maybe one or two other small changes to the campaign or to the landing page. And once you've done that then and you actually start getting a significant amount of traffic to each variation of the landing page, you'll see which one is getting the highest conversion rate and most conversions, and then that'll be like the new winner that you A B test and pause the old one. And it's just a continuous iterative process where you're constantly optimizing everything inside the Google Ads account. And that's basically the whole point of this video. We're basically just trying to optimize everything and continuously bring down our cost per lead by doing so. Now, I hope this video helped when it comes to, all the main aspects of optimization inside Google Ads. Now, there are obviously other minor small tasks that you can do to optimize, but I did point out really all the main things that you need to be doing to optimize your Google Ads account. And if you're doing all of these, you're automatically beating, well over 90% of the competition just by doing these few things. And I didn't explain all of these in, huge amounts of detail, or else this video would have went on far too long. But I have made separate videos already on quite a lot of the aspects that we went through in this video in more detail if you'd like to check those out. And for any of those that I didn't go through in more detail already in separate videos, I'll be making more videos on those as well. Now, if you have any questions at all about anything we went through in this video, as we did kind of cover quite a lot, Feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll aim to answer all your questions as soon as I possibly can. And if you do like this kind of content as well, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel as we'll be posting all things related to Google Ads here daily. And so hopefully I will see you in the next video.